welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm your host, Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you, Wynnie Lamour, who is the Managing Director of the Haitian Creole Language Institute of New York, is my special guest tonight. She'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. Like I said, I have a very special guest for you. And for all of those who are interested in knowing about the Creole language and what it's all about, we got an expert. Wynnie, I have to call you an expert. So much so that you are the managing director of the Haitian Creole Language Institute of New York. So
Yes.
That's a big title for you to have. But welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So why don't you give us a little bit of background about what exactly is the Haitian Creole Language Institute, first of all?
Okay, so very simply, the Haitian Creole Language Institute is a dedicated space to the study of the Haitian Creole language. That's it. And part of what we do is we provide people the opportunity to learn the Haitian Creole language in a structured environment, in a way that's just not being done in a lot of other places. And primarily, we just want to help shift the image of the language, and part of doing that is just creating a dedicated space for the language.
So how did this all get started? I know you're the brainchild behind this, so it's always fun to find out the concept. And really, when I speak to people who create things, because I'm a visionary myself, you know, when you start to create, it's always nice to talk about the moments of when it was just an idea in your head and then seeing how it is now.
Yeah. So I'm a linguist by training. I was born in Haiti and I was raised in Brooklyn, so I'm comfortably Haitian American. I'm a hyphenated Haitian, part of the diaspora. And after the earthquake, I needed to find a way to sort of remain connected to Haiti and find a way to help. And for me, language is my activism. And I started a class at a location in Brooklyn called the Brooklyn Brainery, where you can suggest anything you want to teach and they'll provide you a space to do it. And then it turned into that class sold out, and then people wanted more, and then it turned into, oh, if you want to learn Haitian Creole, just call Wynnie. And I decided that I didn't want it to be about me. I wanted it to be about the language. And about 2 years ago, I formally founded the Haitian Creole Language Institute of New York. And here we are.
That is amazing.
Here we are 2 years later.
And within 2 years, that's a lot to get done. I mean, you must have all the statistics. So how many Haitians are in Brooklyn, and not even just New York? But we know when you kind of think about Haitians.
You mean my family alone, or
big chunk of that, right? But what are the numbers? Because obviously it's widespread enough that even when you see like Metro Plus or different health things they offer, you see that that's one of the languages they offer services in.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the New York City metro area, the conservative numbers put us at 200,000 and more. But if you take into account Haitian Americans and children of Haitian-born parents, that number could be much higher. So some people say it could be as high as 500,000. And it's just amazing the amount of Haitian energy that you find in New York. The Haitian community here in New York runs deep and strong.
It does. We've seen it, everything from protests to Flag Day.
Yes. And it's reflected in a lot of the city services that you'll find. Haitian Creole is one of the primary languages that you'll find available for the immigrant population here in New York City. So the Haitian population here is very strong, and it's very, very deep.
So when you decided to formally go ahead and do this 2 years ago, what was the first steps in even forming an institute?
So it was more complicated than I thought it was going to be. I knew that I wanted to be a business. I knew that I wanted to run a small business. And I wanted to do that primarily because I want the idea of Haiti and the idea of Haitian Creole and our language to have a value attached to it, to have a price attached to it, versus all of these nonprofits that you find attached to Haiti. And I'm not knocking nonprofits. I mean, there are brilliant organizations based here in New York that are doing brilliant work as nonprofits. But I knew that from the get that I wanted people to know that Haiti is valuable and it's something that you should put your money towards.
Right.
And so when I was founding this business, and it really is a business that I run, I needed to do all of these really detailed paperworks that I wanted to have all my ducks lined up in a row, and I wanted to not fulfill the stereotype of being a Haitian nonprofit or a Haitian business, which is, oh well, they're running their business, but it's not for real, or yeah, they're providing these services, but the stuff behind it is not solid. And so I wanted to make sure I had like all my paperwork in place, and all of my ideas solidly formed so that I knew how I wanted to move forward. So just a quick thing. If you want to use the word institute in your business name, you have to apply for permission from the state of New York. So
that's why I asked that question. I said so.
Yeah, so we're not a degree providing institute, and we don't provide credited classes. But that's something that could happen down the line.
Of course.
So I'm set for that to happen down the line.
Absolutely. And for those who may not know, of course, Creole is traditionally just the language that's spoken in the home. You learn it. There's no real structure. Up until now, there really isn't a formal structure. You never heard of Creole being taught in school or in classes. It's always either your parents, your grandparents, or something that passed it down. So for you, how did you decide that you wanted to really change that and add a little more, like you said, value to it?
So I didn't change much. The Haitian Creole language has been standardized since 1979.
Okay, it has.
So for as long as I've been alive, I've only known a standardized Creole, which was very helpful in when I was trying to put together materials for my curriculum. So in terms of changing, I didn't change much. But what I did bring to the table is, again, the dedicated space to the language. And I think that's what's most important. You can find, for example, in New York, Japanese houses. You can find Portuguese houses. When you walk down 6th Avenue, you can find an Italian house. And it's almost like, well, why isn't there something for Haitian Creole? And that's really what I've brought that's new to the scene. It's, again, very simple idea of just providing a dedicated space to the study of the language in a structured way. And that helps to sort of elevate the image of the language from the stereotype of, oh, well, you can just say it however you want. And no, there are no rules to Haitian Creole. But the fact is, it's a full-fledged language, just like any other language that all other human beings speak.
Exactly, and that's why it's interesting that you mentioned there is a standardized way. So it's a formal language. It's a real language. I've heard all sorts of different things. Well, it's not. It's just broken French. It's French based, but there's certain words that are definitely unique.
Absolutely.
What is Creole? What is it a mix of?
So when you talk about Haitian Creole, it's in the Creole family language, and very simply, at its most basic, it is a language that came out of contact between French speakers, our colonizers, and West African group of family languages, and that was from the African slaves in Haiti. And so what arose out of that was a brand new language, Haitian Creole, which has elements of French and elements of West African languages. And so I like to tell my students, if you speak French, you'll recognize a lot of individual words in the vocabulary, but it doesn't mean that Haitian Creole is like French.
Hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, sitting here with Wynnie Lamour. So, Wynnie, as we were talking right before we took the break, just about what Creole even is for those who don't know, and it's a mixture, like you were saying, it's primarily French, a mix of West African. And what defines you said there's a Creole base of languages?
Yes. And so, again, very, very simply, I don't want to get into like deep linguistic terms, but very simply, a Creole language is a language that arises out of contact between speakers of two vastly different languages.
Okay.
And so what happened in Haiti is that you had French-speaking colonizers and West African-speaking slaves. And what comes out of that is a brand new language. Because when you put two people in a room who speak completely different languages, no matter what, they're going to find a way to communicate. And essentially, that's what a Creole is. There are a lot of different theories about the genesis of the Creole language. There's a lot of different theories about exactly when the Haitian Creole language really started to form. And these are things that are going to start to sort themselves out as more scholarly work is being done on the language. But for now, the most common agreement is just that it's a brand new language with elements of two groups of family languages. So in this case, it was French and a West African group of family languages.
Would you still define it as a new language?
Yeah, I would define it as a new language, but not new in that it was completely created out of the imagination of folks. Really, it's new in that it did not exist in that exact form before, but it's just like any other language in that the people who were forming it at the time already spoke other languages. These were not people who had blank heads and creating something out of thin air. And so, yeah, it's new in that it did not exist before that contact. But I want to sort of shift away from this idea of Haitian Creole being extraordinary because it's as ordinary as any other human language.
It really is, especially, I guess, for when you're living in Brooklyn, you hear it.
All the time.
There's certain areas, or just being in New York, you can hear pretty much any language here. But I guess it'd be more extraordinary when you go to more remote places who may not have a Creole population.
Yeah.
How does Haitian Creole differ from people in Martinique or Guadeloupe? There's Dominica. There's still some Caribbean islands.
St. Lucia.
St. Lucia has Creole. Even Trinidad at one point
had
a big French population. They still have certain words that are French. When you go there, a lot of the street names and towns, it's pretty much either French or Spanish.
Yep.
But they still have that element in there. So how would they be able to all communicate together and understand to a certain degree? And what makes it unique is just, I guess, certain words or sentences would be unique to each country.
Yeah, so Haitian Creole is different in several ways. It's one of two Creoles in the Caribbean that's recognized as one of its respective countries' official languages. So the only other Creole in the Caribbean that's recognized as an official language is Papiamentu, which is spoken in Curacao, in the ABC Islands.
Yes.
And so it's unique in that it has sort of risen to this elevated space, although it still lives in the shadow of French. But because it has so many more speakers than other Creoles in the Caribbean, there's a lot more variation happening with the language, a lot more change, and a lot more opportunity to preserve the language in ways that's not happening in other French-based Creole-speaking islands. But in terms of mutual intelligibility, there's a lot of it. I've been to St. Lucia. I can talk to a St. Lucian in their French-based Creole with my French-based Creole, and because the vocabulary is the same in terms of just stock words,
Yes.
there's a lot of understanding. But they are